Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Inside the Force. David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to a jam-packed episode once again as we dive into all things Star Wars. Got a lot of news to talk about, as well as some reviews of some books and comics that we've been diving into, and then a whole slew of other things that have been brought up because of some images that have possibly not. They haven't revealed anything, but it's just good-looking stuff.
Yeah, really nothing revealed.
All right, so join us as we get through the news. Case, what we got here?
Well, Ron Howard is still on point with his tweeting game.
Yeah.
He is, nothing revealing, of course, but it's just cool, the stuff that he's still publishing. Today I saw a little video on Twitter of, he posted a speeder, like a wrecked speeder that was just on set. And it just looked cool. I love the stuff I'm seeing from, just like in any other good Star Wars movie. The set design is fantastic. It's unique. It looks very rough and gritty, but yet very fun. And I'm very excited to see that the look of Han Solo film is still meeting that standard. And just hearing reports too from like Donald Glover, who talked about. Not really talking, but he mentioned a little bit about the whole director changeover a little bit, and said that he's kind of just as confused. He was just as confused as everybody else, but he's praising Ron Howard and his direction. And it seems like everything that we're seeing from Ron Howard's Twitter account, of course, it looks like everything's going very well.
Yeah.
And Donald Glover sounds like he's going very well, and I think even Woody Harrelson, last week or so, even said the same thing. Ron Howard's doing very well. So I'm sure it's in the good direction. Han Solo film, I have no doubt whatsoever that it's still going to be fine. But they should be wrapping up. I would say they're these quote unquote reshoots. But, it's a lot of stuff they're shooting though. From what we're seeing from Ron Howard's account, they're doing a lot of different things, but. Han Solo film is coming along, seems like pretty ticely. We shall see. May, we're less than a year away, which is crazy. Because we're less than 4 months. Mm-hmm. Almost 4 months away from Last Jedi.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I'm a little surprised. I think actually we're 125 days.
Perfect. It's a perfect amount of days.
Until the Last Jedi. I think I kind of feel like it's funny because I kind of feel like the whole tweeting stuff from Ron is like almost a way to save the film and to save the interest.
Yeah, of course. It's
because I only say that because this time last year, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, no, actually, this time last year. Either way, before the next movie was coming out, we never got anything from the one after.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like they always wait till they.
Yeah, because
the current one comes out.
When the Force Awakens was coming, all we heard was Rogue One was shooting. Yeah. But we never saw anything. Mm-hmm. Rogue One last year, they were promoting that. There was nothing on Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden, we're promoting Last Jedi, but we're also seeing Han Solo stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
But we didn't see a thing till after the director change, correct?
Yeah. It's definitely saving face, I think. But he's doing a great job to me. He's...
Well, it makes you wonder why this didn't happen in the first place, kind of. Because, we as fans, we want as much as we can get, without revealing too much.
Sure.
And I think that they've subtly been able to do that. And I think part of it is like, look, we're actually making a really cool thing here.
Look, yeah, that's
so
it's just crazy situation, but nonetheless, I'm sure it'll be just fine, everybody. But moving on to the current movie that's coming out, Last Jedi. We'll definitely get into this pretty heavy. I can do it now if you want, but
EW stuff.
Yeah, just today we're recording this on Friday, Thursday. Yesterday, we're recording this on Thursday, but yesterday, which was a Wednesday, there was a little preview from Entertainment Weekly about today's articles, but we still got a lot of images yesterday. Different, pretty much all the characters, everybody, just about, and the even smaller characters like apparently Rose. We got some stuff with Rose. We got some stuff with the Praetorian Guards, some ships. They're just amazing, beautiful images. Today we got some new stuff with Leia's rolling in 8 and Poe Dameron. A few more things here and there. Now, I'll just kind of quickly summarize. I didn't read absolutely everything because skimming through a lot of it, there is nothing revealing in these articles.
No.
Or these images. It is a lot of fluff and a lot of summarizing and rehashing everything that we already know. Some of the new stuff, they went into a little bit more details about things like the Porgs or the Caretakers. That was a new thing. The Caretakers on Octo Island. They look like the stations from Bill and Ted 2. They're like the nuns of sorts on Octo Island. You have a really cool new image of the Praetorian Guards, kind of in a fighting stance, which was really cool. Their armor is so unique. I feel like it's just that red is really visceral in your face, which is really cool. Cool shots of Finn flying one of those aircraft or spacecraft on Crate. A new shot of Kylo, which is great. All this and that, and a Porg. The Porg apparently gets on the Millennium Falcon with Chewie, which looks hilarious and really cute.
Is that real? I guess.
Yeah, it's real. So I guess that maybe they take one with them and then kind of finds its way on the ship and just becomes part of the journey, which I think is hilarious. It's really, for one thing, it's really shown me that The Last Jedi definitely seemed like it's delivering this hype about it being going on a new direction in a sense of right now, in the sense of how visually it's being presented to us. I think we're seeing some different stuff, which is really cool. But it also looks like it's going to have some really fun moments with these Porgs. Really fun moments at Canto Bight. We got some little bit details with that. I think above all else, some of the new stuff that I took away was elaborating a little more about what Finn is doing and Rose's character. And I will be perfectly honest, I am not excited about. I'm sure it'll be great and awesome, and I'm pumped, and I think this could potentially be my favorite Star Wars movie. However, I'm not terribly excited about Rose, this character of Rose.
Right.
And Finn, so far with what we've been described of his role, and it's like, I just don't see how it's going to tie into the grand scheme of things. I really hope that that it does. I'm sure it will. I have utmost faith in Rian Johnson and Lucasfilm, but I'm right now really focused on Rey and Luke and Kylo, as with I'm sure most people are. But I even put Poe Dameron above Finn. Like I don't know, I'm just not really paying attention to Finn's story, especially Rose. Like everything I'm reading about Rose, they keep emphasizing how she's a nobody. She's just a lowly character mechanic who gets wrapped up into this. I'm like, you're really not advertising her well.
No.
Like, you're not making me excited about her. I know what they're doing. I understand it totally, that she's just an average person who gets this extraordinary experience and becomes something larger than herself.
Kind of like Lando, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, like, it's like Luke. Anybody. Well, Luke obviously has the legacy of Skywalker, but the idea of like this average person that we can relate to gets plucked from their ordinary life and put into something that's beyond their own grasp. That's amazing. That's the underdog. That's the idea of Star Wars. But it's just they're doing it in such a way where it doesn't make me excited about Rose.
Yeah,
she has an older sister that is a pilot that will be tied closely to Poe. So I'm excited about that though. So I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. I just right now I'm not focusing. I'm not even excited about that. I am totally 100% looking forward to just Snoke stuff, Kylo stuff, Luke and Rey and Octo Island and Jedi Order, what remains of it. So that's what I'm really focused on.
Did I see something in I think it was was it the headline of the article or someone posted, I think maybe, but it says something like, can Rey bring...
It's like Save Luke, whatever.
Save Luke or
that's
something like that?
the EU headline. Yeah, the Entertainment Weekly headline.
EW, right?
Yeah.
You said EU.
Oh, hey. Entertainment, Expanded Universe.
EW.
No, EW.
Yeah, so that does bring up... I mean, I kind of feel like that's part of a lot of the speculation we've been talking about. Everybody's been talking about it. Luke. What's Luke's state of mind, and is Rey helping him, or is he helping her? Because I feel like, especially with the teaser, truly that Luke is just not himself, and he's truly given this up, and that's why I do think I think this film is about Rey bringing him back to the light, almost
like a redemption. Already with Luke. Yeah,
because like I think in the article, doesn't he talk about how he feels 100% guilty because he tried to resurrect the Order. His nephew, basically betrays him, turns evil, and he feels responsible for that. So he does leave, and he feels like he can't control the possibility of him turning or whatever, So anyway, I think he's not willing to train Rey, and not willing to do anything until she kind of convinces him somehow, or something happens, or that he brings him back. But so it makes me wonder, truly, like if he. I mean, do we know? Well, I guess we don't know because they haven't started filming yet. Like if he's filming anything for episode 9, I mean,
I don't know. I think is he growing his beard back? I don't know, but
they start shooting that next year, right? First of next year.
Yeah, no, but we haven't. I'd tell you again, to my knowledge.
Wait, so that's a May release, right? It
will be May
2019, right?
Yeah, year after Han Solo.
Yeah. So wow, so that is going to be an incredible year, because that's Celebration,
right?
And the park.
It'll be right before,
and the Disney park.
Yeah,
and
that's a big,
episode 9.
Big first quarter.
Holy cow! Anyway, so I think Luke. Yeah, I mean, I think Luke has to make it through to 9.
I think so.
Yeah.
I do think you. I mean, whether he might die in 9, who knows? But I think he'll make it through this one, because that's what it's hyping up to be, like, to hype it up, bring him back. If he finally gets back, then he gets killed off right at the end. Like, that's.
I know.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's not without, maybe it is within the realm of possibilities, because it's so much of we take 2 steps forward but 3 steps back in this fight against the First Order. With like Han Solo, like, oh yeah, we got Han Solo back. We're going after him. Oh wait, he died. So now we got to take a huge step back. Oh wait, we got Luke Skywalker. Oh wait, I don't know. That's just so much. That's so much drama. I don't think they could do that. But who knows at the end of 9? But again, I say that. However, unfortunately, we have to do with the Princess Leia, General Leia, situation. There were some articles about her, how her theme for Last Jedi is all about hope again. Like, she's really still got that mentality, and she's instilling that into the Resistance, and talks a little bit about her relationship with Poe, how she kind of sees him as like a surrogate son almost. She's really taking him within her arms, which I guess we saw some of that in the Poe comic anyways. But but there's still nothing about her involvement with 9, although they're rewriting that right now with they got a new writer attached to that film. I just can't imagine that daunting task of having to figure out how they're going to do it. Episode 9. I mean, we keep hearing that they're not changing Carrie Fisher's performance or her role in 8, like it is as it has always been.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine they'll like write her off at the end of 8 to explain her absence from 9. But we shall see how they're going to deal with it in episode 9. But anyways, like the Entertainment Weekly articles, go on their website and look it up. And there's like 10. I feel like a 10 or so articles of different aspects.
There is several.
Talk about the Ports, talk about the Praetorian Guards, Luke and Rey, talk about Poe Dameron, talk about Finn and Rose, and just today, I was even skimming some stuff about Benicio del Toro's character, DJ. Mm-hmm. Again, nothing revealing. He's still just described as kind of that scoundrel. It goes a little bit more detail about how he has skills as a slicer, as kind of like a hacker. So nothing to reveal. I think he follows Finn and Rose to Canto Bight, or together they go to Canto Bight. I think he's kind of serves as their transport, but it's interesting, very interesting. But yeah, the episode 9 is being rewritten by Jack Thorne, who did Wonder Woman, and he's done some books as well. But so when we see how everything's all going to tie together, I just cannot imagine. There's even some information about, not much more, but Snoke.
Yes.
And since we've recorded, we've gotten some. Did we get? No, we did. We talked about that last week. The images of Snoke.
Yeah.
That we got that. But he's totally motion capture though, which was kind of confirmed today by Ryan Johnson. He's completely 100% motion capture. And we're going to get more with him, but not everything, of course. But we'll definitely, because these Praetorian Guards are his personal bodyguards, so I imagine they get pretty close to him.
Yeah.
There's been rumors about scenes with Leia and Snoke, so we'll see exactly how close we get.
I saw somebody on Twitter or my Facebook, but they put they had that image of Snoke in that gold robe.
Yeah.
They had him actually look normal, and they said before drugs.
Oh, right.
And then after.
Yeah. I want to see how they make
It's freaking hilarious.
I want to see how they did make him look normal. That's hilarious.
It's crazy how he looks normal. I guess I don't know.
A handsome man.
Yeah. I don't know how they're. I still feel like those injuries somehow they're significant to who he is.
Yeah,
I just something ain't right about that.
I almost just now kind of thinking if he's. We might have talked about this. I vaguely remember it. I feel like, but he kind of is like a shell of a being where he's holding himself together with the dark side of the Force, preventing himself from dying. Very much like
he's a humanoid. That's been confirmed,
yes,
right? Yeah.
So he's because I've said this before in the show a long time ago, but Knights of the Old Republic 2, there's a villain called Darth Sion, and he was in a sense immortal because you kept hacking at him, hitting him, shooting him, whatever, but he used the dark side of the Force to literally hold his body together to prevent himself from dying. And then at the end, you beat him, and in the game, he kind of loses his will to live and just kind of falls apart and dies. But so I wonder if that's, in a sense, this guy, because his wounds look fatal. He has holes in his throat, holes in his head and his face. Like, I feel like you should not be alive.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is a similar situation where he's literally holding himself together really carefully with the dark side of the Force, so he wouldn't die. And, maybe he's that close to death already, and who knows what kind of power we'll see from him.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm very pumped.
Will we even get a reveal or anything until 9?
I imagine we'll see him. I imagine we'll see him in person. We'll hear him talk.
Yeah,
because in these articles from Entertainment Weekly, Ryan Johnson has described working with Andy Serkis again, how he's just phenomenal in this movie. So I imagine we will get a much more in-depth performance, learn a little bit more, but not everything enough to be to know obviously the whole backstory. But
Andy Serkis, man, he just does all these movies. Mm-hmm. No one gets to see him finish, So it's like,
but we know his face. It's like
I know, but it's funny because I wonder if. I'm probably not now, but I'm wondering at first if people he showed up premiere parties and they're like, "Who is that guy?"
I don't know, man. That's the thing. Like his his face is to me very recognizable.
Yeah.
Even though we don't.
But
see his face in movies.
when he did Gollum, like no one probably knew who he was. That's really when he jumped on the screen, right? Jumped in the scene, and then of course he's Caesar.
Yeah, he did King Kong.
He did King Kong. You're right. Yeah, he did King Kong. Obviously Snoke.
Yeah.
I mean, finally see him in Avengers.
Yeah, you see him in Avengers. He's been actual physically in the camera in the movie a few times. You know, a small role. Prestige. He was in that.
Prestige. Yeah.
You know, he did some comedies. He's done some comedies as well. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. He has the monopoly of motion capture. Basically,
he is.
If you want a motion capture guy, go to him.
Yeah, and I agree with a lot of articles and people out there saying that like he there should be an Oscar. For that type of acting or something.
He's acting just as hard as anybody else.
I know. I mean, even if not harder. Yeah. I mean, who can do
the
that?
Physicality.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, you see some of those behind the scenes things with Planet of the Apes. I mean,
those are great movies, man. He's good.
Yes,
he's great.
He's so good. Because those are his facial expressions. I mean, those dots are on his face, so it's like they're using his. And kudos to the other ones that like Planet of the Apes. Like there's all these other ones he's interacting with, and they don't get as much recognition as he does, obviously. But they're really good at what they do. I mean, motion capture stuff is incredible. So, yeah. So ton of minor news beyond that as far as September 1st. For those of you who don't remember or know, it is actually Force Friday 2.
Right.
September 1st, so at midnight, which I think I'll bet you a lot of people are going to be waiting in line. A slew of toys obviously are getting released. There's been some previews out there of Last Jedi toys.
A lot of
Lego stuff, but there's a lot of figures. You know, there's some leaks up there, some Luke and old Luke and Rey, and of course there's a slew of books as well. Phasma comes out. Star Wars Phasma comes out that day, as well as some of the encyclopedias and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then of course in October you got more things, more books. You got and then more. I think it's October 3rd. There's some of those other books like
the Journey
stuff. Journey stuff comes out in October. Yeah. The October 10th, I think, is the 40 stories, the certain point of views. Yep. So I really can't wait for that. I'm pumped about that. So Force Friday, I figured I might be going around town a little bit on Friday the 1st, seeing what's out. You mentioned the new rider. So other than that, I think let's. So we'll do. First off, go to. If you get a chance, go to InsideTheForce.com and catch up on Russell Johnson, who is actually doing a ton of reading on the comic side and doing some reviews on that. Everything that's coming out, really, he's reading it and reviewing on there. We're tweeting it out and stuff like that. So read his reviews, see what you want to read out of these things. We just read from last week, Darth Vader number 4. Where it continues Vader's story after Episode 3. Charles Soule, who's writing the book, basically considers this Vader year 1. Basically his first volume of issues here it's him in search of a lightsaber, because obviously when he lost his lightsaber obviously to Obi-Wan. Either way, he needs to, as a Sith, I guess his obligation is to find a lightsaber from somebody else,
right?
In order to use that crystal for his own. So he hunts down a Jedi and looking for his lightsaber. So, what'd you think? Issue number 4.
It's good. And sad.
Yeah.
Because they introduce us to such a cool Jedi character, and I want to know more about him. And I imagine down the road somehow we'll get some origin stories of this guy. I don't know, because he seems cool, man. He seems really cool. But reminds
me of Coda.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's
from
true.
Force Unleashed.
Very true. But once again, we get an issue where it's like Anakin making the switch to Vader is so quick. Like, he is a monster in this, man.
Yeah.
And he's, maybe still got to work on some of his finesse a little bit because he got his butt handed to him pretty quickly in the previous issue. But in this one, he comes back, and it's a good little fight, and he's definitely Darth Vader, no question about it.
Yes. Yeah, as the beginning of this issue, I mean, he is basically just torn apart. I mean, the Jedi, and I can't remember his name. It's hard to pronounce, actually.
Infala is his last name. I can't remember his first name. Yeah. Infala.
But I mean, he thinks he killed him.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm now got to go kill his master.
Yeah, which I wish I had seen that.
I'd seen that story, yeah. But of course, Vader doesn't die.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Big surprise.
Yeah, big surprise. So yeah, it's a really good series. Again, Charles Soule's writing this thing, and he's described this thing as just Vader understanding and trying to figure out who he is and how to do things this first year. So, and there's not really, I don't know where they're going to go from this, but this I would think at this point there's not too much resistance going on of the Empire. I mean, they just basically won the Clone Wars, and Empire Day and all that stuff happened. There's not Jedi are basically going hiding right now. So, Bail and Mothma are basically secretly starting to, I guess, build the rebellion a little bit, but there's no rebellion necessarily yet. I don't think so. So it is all about Vader hunting down Jedi, and that's what I feel like this is going to be, even after he gets his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because, that's what Obi-Wan said, right?
Yeah.
Help the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights. I mean, I think because he hasn't done any hunting yet.
Right.
He just went to the temple.
Yeah. He needs his weapon first, then he'll go.
Then he goes start hunting.
Then he'll go hunting.
Yeah.
We'll just give him a few minutes.
Did you read that? This is a complete side note, but we were talking about Force Unleashed a little bit. Did you read that where I read something, I think it was a tweet, that Filoni seriously considered using Starkiller as the Inquisitor in Rebels.
I don't think I read
that. Like he almost used him as
that would have been great
as the Inquisitor. The look, I don't think they would call him Starkiller, but he would have been the look of the Inquisitor.
So it would have been Sam Witwer.
Would have been Sam Witwer, basically.
That would have been very neat.
I'm sure he probably pushed for that too.
I'm sure Sam Witwer did that. Yeah, just do it.
I wonder if he had to get somebody else to voice him though.
I don't. He's already voiced 3. He's the Emperor. He's Maul. And he's the Son.
Yeah, he can change his name. He can change his.
Yeah, he can
change his voice.
Just his normal voice. Yeah.
I thought that would have been really cool.
Fantastic.
I think they got to do.
There's
something
still room
like
for that. Yeah,
they got to do something like that.
There's other brothers and sister Inquisitors out there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because there was a fifth.
Seventh
there
brother?
was a seventh brother and fifth. No, seventh sister, fifth brother. Yeah. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 at least. Okay, so and then now, comic wise again, Russell's been doing a lot of stuff for us, catching up on comics and reviewing those. So check that out, InsideTheForce.com. We were also tweeting that out. I think he just put up an article on the one shot of Cassian and K2.
Yes.
That just came out yesterday. So go check that out. I'm going to read that as well. We'll do a little review for you next week. Novel wise, Casey here has flown through some novels.
Yeah, speed listening.
Jeez.
Not speed reading. Speed
literally in like 2 weeks?
A couple of weeks, yeah.
You went through what?
Oh, gosh. I've done 3 books now, I guess.
You said Thrawn?
Thrawn, Inferno Squad, Dark Disciple.
And Dark Disciple.
Yeah, so let me think. It's been... Because I just got off doing some audiobooks leading up to, I went to see The Dark Tower. But immediately after that, I was like, gosh, I need to start doing double speed on these other books to catch up.
Double speed?
Yeah, so I do double speed on some of them. Now, I tried starting Tark in double speed. I think the guy reading that just naturally reads fast, so that's a little
Hard
That's
to
do.
understand. Yeah.
But I might do Lords of the Sith next. That one's not too bad to listen to. But yeah, I started off with Thrawn, listening at the double speed, and now I was able to understand it fine.
That's Mark Thompson.
Mark Thompson, and that was great. Like I still got very involved and invested with the story because it was just phenomenal writing,
so good,
and great
so
reading. So did that, then moved immediately to Inferno Squad. We could talk about that, and then after that, I did Dark Disciple, and so it was a fun
Dark
time.
Disciple is good.
That was really good. You're right.
I mean,
you're on the money with that. That should have been like a movie, an animated movie, or
absolutely.
something. Like it was a very surprisingly a very.
So what's your take on Asajj now? I mean,
she's great. Yeah. No, I definitely like her much better. Humanized her more.
Yeah. You sympathize with her a lot more now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, but just in general, like with her and Quinlan Voss, I had no idea. Like now, when talking about points of view, when I watch episode 3 now, and they mention Quinlan Voss, I'm like, good gosh, like this guy had the craziest year or so.
Exactly.
Like some major events happened in this book. They came so close to taking down Dooku. Obviously, they didn't kill Dooku. That's the whole plot. Is like they go to try to assassinate Dooku. Obviously, they didn't do it, but so many other things happen. Crazy reversals, and then I always thought it was just a small scale story with Asajj and Quinlan Voss. And hearing you talk about it and actually listening to it, it involves everybody.
It's a major
Yoda,
event.
Mace, Anakin, Obi-Wan is Commander Cody's in it. So
yeah.
In that sense, it felt like a Clone Wars arc because it involved everybody. It was, had the battles and had all this and that in it. But
Boba Fett and
that's right. And Bosk was in it.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. It was just a brilliant story. It felt like it should have been a movie.
And I don't know if did I mention the actual show episodes were written by Katie Lucas.
Kate Lucas. I did not know that too. I heard the little afterword in the book.
Correct. She did is it called a forward or is that the
acknowledgments?
No, the forward was the first thing. Right?
Forward. Yeah, the forward's the. Excuse me. In the beginning, I didn't hear that was spoken. I didn't hear that.
No, it's at the end. I don't want to call it at the end. It's not the epilogue. Usually, is the story afterward. Okay, whatever. But no, she did a little thing at the end, and explained how she grew up in Star Wars, wanted to be a producer, and ended up being writing. Yeah, I didn't know that, and she wrote this story about Asajj, obviously with Filoni's direction.
Yeah.
But it never got aired. So she gave her notes to Christy Golden, and her and Christy Golden shaped the story of this novel. So awesome. No, it is truly. I if I were to rank, the books right now, I would put Thrawn number 1. I would put the Dark Disciple number 2 as far as what
I mean, I've read all. I haven't done all of them that you have, but yeah, that's definitely up there.
Because like you said, the fact I can kind of talk about it now since you read it, but and spoilers but the book's been out for a while, so a little minor spoiler, but yeah, Voss. I mean, this guy turned evil.
He was a bad guy.
I mean, he was standing in front of the council, knowing he was going to betray them.
Yeah,
it's like, there's a major events. I mean, he basically was going to be executed.
Yeah,
it's like.
We could do this. Like, I want to talk so much about this, just because it speaks not just a lot. Voss. Yeah, Dooku almost died. Dooku was so close to be taken out. He was wounded. He's injured. He's nervous. He's scared. Captured. And then they're talking about overthrowing Sidious, and really this was so close. But besides all that, besides Ventress, the Jedi. This speaks a lot about the Jedi.
Yes, it does.
I mean, they started this because of them. It's because of them Voss went to the dark side.
Exactly.
They put this in motion. They condoned an assassination twice.
And Obi-Wan made them aware of that, basically.
Yeah.
He's the one that kind of said it's our fault.
Exactly. There's even a line where Mace is saying, take out Dooku and don't let anybody stand in your way. This is the Jedi.
I know.
This is not good. This is not good at all. And we talk about how the prequels can be seen as the fall of the Jedi. This book really fits into that mold, because the Jedi are not talking like themselves, and they're not, like Yoda especially. Like, what in the world is going on here? You know, there is. I think there's definitely some credence to there's some corruption in the Jedi. You know, it's tough, but
well, it goes to show you what war desperation will do, right? I mean, they're not winning. It's just kind of maintaining, and
innocent people are dying.
Innocent people are dying. Dooku's the one leading it, so they're like, we gotta, assassinate him, which is it's not what Jedis do. So,
sure.
But just to be able to think of a story where you get Asajj Ventress involved and a Jedi, and obviously there's a romantic relationship that develops there, and of course that forces the emotions, right, of loss and fear, which are dark side emotions, but it's amazing because that's the thing. Obviously that's what I was telling you about. Like that, I mean, the dark disciple is Quinlan, not Asajj, but just her story, just how she was a Padawan, got rejected basically from the Jedi, did her own thing for a while, and then recruited as a dark assassin, but she wasn't fully Sith. And then we see her in the Clone Wars as she kind of leaves that lifestyle to go back to her sisters, but they get wiped out, and then she becomes a bounty hunter. And because that's the whole thing on Dathomir, that whole story with her on Dathomir, that's awesome. I mean, that's at the end, like I was tearing up.
It was really
taking her body back.
Yeah,
I mean, she dies.
Yeah, she does.
I mentioned that already before, but it was very emotional, and the fact that they did that, they honored her because Obi-Wan kind of made it like, she's not just some assassin person. I mean, they took care of her body. They gave her proper burial and all that stuff. It was really neat.
It was such an interesting moment because Quinlan Voss was mentioning when they approached, like where they were taking her body, saying like, mentioning out the dark. He felt the dark side presence while they were there on Dathomir, and saying like how dark side's not our enemy right now. Like, can you feel like we're bringing back one of their own? So there was a strange mutual. There was a truce in a sense. To kind of describe it, simply as a truce between light and dark. There was peace for that moment because they were bringing back Asajj and having a ceremony for her there. So it was an interesting, I think, a strange balance.
It was
in that one little moment, which I think actually kind of says a lot. And just kind of talking a little more about Quinlan, he has a cool ability too.
Yeah,
his special force ability touches an object, he can see like its past or whatever. Present or who's kind of handled it. So he has a cool little ability.
That's kind of like Bruce Willis in Unbreakable.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got the unbreakable ability.
Yeah. So you can see where it gets. That was really neat about seeing his master, like finding out the truth behind what happened there, and
that was a brilliant story.
Oh man, it's so good. Like I would have loved. I mean, part of me actually doesn't see how they could have done that in the Clone Wars. Well, that was so different.
They definitely would have. It would have been much more tame.
Yeah,
there was a lot of sexual. There was a lot of violence. Totally. But yeah, that was such a long story. Like because when we see it written out in the chronological order of all the episodes of Star Wars of Clone Wars on Star Wars' website, it's 8 episodes.
Right.
And it's split by the Son of Dathomir comic, but I can't imagine an 8-part episode.
Yeah, that's half. That's more than half. Well, it's half your season, if not almost half.
I wonder if they had a much more scaled down version, and then
I would think so.
Then just like here are all my notes, just do all of this. Gosh, Kate Lucas, I have so much respect for her.
Yeah,
because not only is she heir, or not necessarily heir, but she's the daughter of George Lucas. Young, very young. She started writing when she was 17 for Clone Wars. She did like one episode or something like that, and then she did the arc, this arc. But it's just phenomenal. And then she gets such a beautiful story about her when she was a child with Lucas behind the screen and the premiere of Star Wars, one of the Star Wars movies, and just the enjoyment that Lucas got from the reactions. It was just a very touching story. So I've definitely read the book and read the afterward at the end, it's it's just, it makes you fall in love again with Star Wars. That's what all of these stories should do.
Yeah, and what helps is there's so many familiar characters in that book.
Yeah.
That's what. I mean, it felt like the Clone Wars. It felt like you were watching it again, but it felt more mature, a little bit,
Oh yeah,
more for our crowd.
Very dark.
Stuff. Very dark.
The title is literally, it's a dark story.
It's a crazy story. Yeah.
It goes pretty deep into some dark places.
So what about Inferno Squad?
Inferno Squad actually did not really capture my attention. I mean, that's why I sort of stay away from audiobooks, because I was always afraid that I wouldn't focus as much. I don't know, but I focused just fine now because I busted through 3 of them. But so I was able to be cognizant of a lot of it. But Inferno Squad really didn't capture my attention. The story, it started cool with some of the battles, with the Battle of Yavin to start us off and the formation of Inferno Squad. But I don't know. I felt the story was, I don't know, it wasn't too original. I don't know. It was a very simple story, and maybe I just wasn't as invested in the characters as I thought I thought I would be. Maybe I hyped it up too much, but I like Christy Golden's work. She's great. But maybe it's the story in particular didn't really hold my awe, and my didn't grasp me as much as Thrawn or Dark Disciple did. And I mean, the ending was fine. It's a fine story. Just was not nearly my top favorite Star Wars books. It's something that it was good. It was okay, but it just didn't really get me.
Yeah, it definitely flatlined for me a little bit. Also, it was very good in the beginning. I thought the opening chapter, obviously, with Yavin was great. The formation of great, kind of the dynamic between Iden and her father.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was really good. This whole book is centered around, we'll do our best not to spoil too much, but because this is the newest book. Mm-hmm. The whole book centers around Saul's partisans. Partisans being the people that are Saul's believers in his cause. So I do question a little bit, because now I'm reading Rebel Rising, which is all about Saul and Jin and his partisans, his group. I kind of feel like I'm kind of starting to think, why are we so worried about the partisans and that story? You know what I mean? Because
right.
Saul's a good character. I wouldn't say he's a great character, but he's a good character. Rebel Rising is just really right now. Rebel Rising. I'm about 20 chapters in of a 40. It's like 48 chapters or whatever. It's shorter chapters,
Yeah, he's a big font.
Yeah, big font. That's a junior novel, I think, right?
Yeah. So it's pretty easy reads usually.
Yeah. So it's about Saul and Jin, obviously, but it's really about how Saul, at least what I'm getting right now, it's really about how Saul views the Empire still, and how that view is constantly changing to even more radicalism. Right? But, and I don't know how, obviously it ends somehow with them separating, because she's on her own by the time we get to Rogue One, but it shows also how these people, these partisans, they're behind this guy no matter what he tells them to do. And I'll just talk about one part in this book, but and I'm actually surprised it's in this book, because it being a junior novel. But there's a scene. It's not giving away too much of the story, but there's a scene in here where Jin starts going on missions with him, and they go to this like really fancy ball where this governor is getting revealed or something like that there, and he tells Jin to stay in the ship while 10 of these people. She helped forge these passes, invitations So Saul and 9 partisans get in. Well, Jin ends up making 2. At first he ends up having her make 12 or whatever, but only needs 10. So she has one. So she ends up sneaking in, and well, she notices they all kind of position themselves around, and all this people are in the middle when the governor gets introduced. They all fire and wipe the entire place out. And she talks about it in here how it's just the middle of the floor is just all blood and bodies and stuff. And I'm like, man, I wouldn't, my daughter, I would not let my daughter, I don't know what age is young adult, but I'm like.
It's like high school, late middle school.
I don't know, but I'm like, that is, wow. I mean, and that's all this book is about, is them going on missions and just killing people.
Yeah.
So it's weird, and I say this, and I was just talking about that because this is obviously somewhat of a prequel to Inferno Squad,
right?
Because Inferno Squad, some of the people that are in Inferno Squad, that his partisan group, Staven's in this book, and I'm assuming I'm probably going to hear a couple other ones that show up in Inferno Squad, right. But Inferno Squad, going back again, it's all about ending Saul's ideology, right? Because which kind of, when you think about it, it doesn't make sense a little bit, because the book is centered around the rebellion destroying the Death Star, but for some reason, Inferno Squad's main mission in this is to end the Partisans.
Yeah, no, which I feel like,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I had issues with that, and
I'm not sure why, because the big reveal, which I won't say, isn't that big of a reveal. The significance of it isn't anything. No, which is the identity of this one, the mentor, right?
Yeah. I just definitely think that they went through a lot of trouble to get rid of this group, when it felt like it should be much easier.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why
even waste? I thought the same thing. Why even waste that time?
Yeah, why are you doing all
Because I know they're trying to find information.
Yeah, sure.
But do you really need the information? Because what is that information actually doing?
That was my thoughts. Halfway into it, I was like, why are they still here? Why are they still doing this?
Yeah.
You get what you need. Just end it.
Because they're not connected to the rebellion.
Exactly. And the thing is, the Partisans, they're bad.
They are
bad
terrorists.
People.
They are terrorists.
Yeah, exactly. And, Inferno Squad is being, praised, raved about its story of how it's the point of view, it's such a different point of view of the Empire. It's really about these characters who 100% wholeheartedly believe in the Empire, just like how, just as bad as Luke believing in the rebellion, or Leia believing in the rebellion. So and that's great. I totally get that, and I see that, and I think that's a great point of view to know about. So if you wanted to understand the Empire a little more, however, they're talking about the Partisans and being these evil terrorists that need to be stopped. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Because there's scenes similar to that where they're talking about terrorizing and killing innocent people. The Partisans are talking about this, like killing innocent people, and then it gets kind of crazy in the story. But no, the Partisans are bad.
Yeah,
Saul definitely goes off the deep end, and that's why I'm excited to read Rebel Rising, because I want to know more about why he is the way he is.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and this takes place a couple years as of right now. It's a couple years before Rebels.
Okay.
So it's about 6-7 years before A New Hope. Mm-hmm. It jumps from the end of Rogue One. No, not the end of Rogue One. The end of the beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah, the prologue.
When she's, I think she says she's 10 when that happens. So she's, and then now, was she 8? No, she was 10, I think. Right now, I'm at the point where she's just turned 15.
Okay.
And I think when Rebels happened, she's 16. Because that's 5 years, right? Because since she's like 21.
Right. Yeah.
So I think she's getting close to that point where, because in Rebels, although it's a couple years later, because in Rebels, when Saul shows up in Rebels, obviously at least I don't think Jin's there anymore. Right. I think they've been separated at that point. But it's really neat because it actually flashes back a couple times to her imprisonment on Wobani.
Oh, cool.
So there's things going on in Wobani, and then backtracks to her story. So it's really good. It's actually Beth Revis wrote this thing. It's actually really good. So and I hate to say it, but I got to be honest. The audiobook isn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not read all that great. Although I will say she does a spot on Jyn Erso.
Yeah.
It's a British, it's a British
Great.
accent.
Yeah, cool.
It's pretty spot on Jyn, but and I can do. She reads kind of slow, so she can. I could do the double speed, and I tried it, but I just. Again, the parts where there's music and stuff, I in action, I want real speed for that. So it's like, so I'm like, I'm just going to do real speed. That's fine. Actually, there's an option for 1.25.
Yeah, slightly faster.
Which is not, it doesn't even do anything different. I feel like
a couple minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I should be done with this. I might be done with this next week. I don't know. I'm getting through it pretty quick. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I would definitely recommend, especially. I actually recommend reading this. I think before doing Inferno Squad, if you can, because again, there's characters in here. Mm-hmm. You'll get an understanding. I think more about the Partisans in this, and then because if I had done that and then Inferno Squad, I think I would have had a more deeper perspective of what the Partisans were and what they're doing and why they.
Would have cared for him a little bit more. That's the thing. I didn't.
Well, I would have. I think the biggest thing is I'm trying to understand why they still continue to do what they do, even though Saul's gone.
Yeah,
that's my big reason, because Saul, according to this, like that they just live for Saul Guerrero, right? And then in Rogue One, when he dies, and most of the Partisans die with him on Jeddah. Mm-hmm. So these are other ones that are kind of out there, and they kind of get together and form. But they're still not wanting to be a part of the rebellion, but they still want to kill a bunch of Imperials. And then, of course, with his radicalism, it doesn't matter who dies.
Yeah,
in fact, Inferno Squad, there's that scene where Sen. They're supposed to blow up that.
That's what you're referring to, like the kids.
Right?
Like this little. I don't know.
So even if that shined a brighter light on the Inferno Squad.
Yeah.
How they were like, she was almost willing to give up her cover.
Yeah.
By not massacring all these kids, So, but that's what I hope in this I understand why they follow him so much, and that beyond Rogue One, after his death, how they continue to still, because the Inferno Squad's, Inferno Squad's about 6 months to a year after Episode 4, I think.
It takes across, or
I don't know how long they're with the Partisans. A few months.
It seems
at least.
It seems like it's a few months. More than that.
Yeah, but I just I may like it more after I read this book, to be honest. I may, and I'm pointing at Rebel Rising, I may like Inferno Squad a little bit more if I understand the Partisans a little bit more, because I didn't really care about them.
Yeah.
And like you said, I didn't really care about Inferno Squad all that much, even though I did care about, I cared more about Iden and her father, to be honest, than
and her mother.
Absolutely. That was tragic. Yeah. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, that was pretty good. But, I hope, obviously I'm looking forward to the game, because I want to continue that. And I wonder, do you think, so you still think that game spans?
I feel like I heard that, so that it spans 30 years. It takes you from the campaign, takes you from Endor to Force Awakens. And we'll see. I don't know.
Wow. Because Iden is 21.
She was 21 in A New Hope.
A New Hope. So she's 25.
Yeah, she's
by the end of
roughly the same.
So she'd be 55 when Force Awakens shows up. So anyway, I don't know. We'll see.
Pull it off.
So anyway, great novels. I'm with you. I think after I do Rebel Rising, I'm going to go to Lords of the Sith. Then the only other book I haven't read really is the first Battlefront book. I haven't done Lost Stars.
I think I would say that I like the first one better than the second one. Oh, that wasn't thrilled about the
first one either. Yeah,
it was still.
You're doing Tarkin now, though.
I tried Tarkin. I can't. I don't know if I could do double speed with Tarkin, so I might put a little pause on some audiobooks for like a couple of days just because I've been cramming them in. So I'm probably going to do Lords of the Sith. I might try to actually read Tarkin. Like, actually read the book.
Refresh my memory. I hate to put you on the spot because I thought about this the other day. In Catalyst,
Yeah.
how did Saul and Galen know each other? Or
They met through, it was mainly Lyra that brought Saul into the mix, because it was that smuggler guy that was hired by Krennic to ship around Lyra and her friend to these other planets.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then the smuggler got cold feet and got connected to all of his smuggler friends, and Saul was a part of that group, and they basically had a little resistance by that planet, and that Saul helped him escape Coruscant.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially, so it was a little...
Because I was trying to think of why he was so willing to take care of Jyn for him. But what did Galen do something for him?
No, I mean they just. I guess it was just Saw's sense of trying to do the right thing.
Guess.
I suppose I think I can't remember if it was like a promise.
That was post Clone Wars or during the Clone Wars.
It was post Clone Wars.
Post Clone Wars. Okay.
I can't remember
because he was an Imperial then, right?
Galen.
Yeah.
Because it was right at the end of Catalyst when they first met on Coruscant when Saw took Galen and Lyra and Jyn from Coruscant. Like that's where they met for the first time. Galen and Saw, because Saw had met Lyra prior to that briefly, but I can't remember that guy's name. That the smuggler friend, the pilot that took him all over the place, but he kind of made a deal with Saw, I think, to help out the Ursos. But I don't know. It's been a while.
Anyway, but he, like in this book, though, I mean, he truly does take Jyn in and care for her and all that stuff. So it's
child, come.
Yes, come. We have a long road ahead.
Does Bor Gullet make an appearance?
No Bor Gullets yet.
Not yet.
No Bor Gullets yet.
Bor Gullet.
All right. Other than that, just a reminder. Actually, I did notice on your phone the news about Netflix.
Yeah.
So Disney is starting their own streaming service. Again, another 2019 thing. I think it starts in 2019.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to be ending their deal with Netflix in terms of movies. I think they're definitely Disney, Marvel. They're keeping the Marvel shows like Daredevil and those shows on Netflix, but like they're pulling pretty much everything else off of Netflix and doing their own.
Yes, there's really no mention of Marvel or Lucasfilm. It's really they talk about Disney and Pixar.
Yeah.
But they did say, because there was all these rumors and articles about how there would be original programming from Disney on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Technically, if the Daredevil stuff, the Marvel stuff is original content, but from possibly Lucasfilm or Disney, that obviously has been put on hold or shifted now into their own streaming service. So they'll probably, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be Netflix, just all Disney stuff.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Because they have that basically that app, Disney Movies Anywhere, is technically what it's going to be. Except,
I mean, I'm sure I'll pay for it because
well, it'll probably
my child along the way would enjoy it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's got to be. They'll wrap it into some kind of other subscription service like YouTube Live or
you might get
Hulu Live or something like that. Yeah. I mean, because you get Disney Channel and Disney XD and all that stuff. So anything, but you're talking about a ton of like obviously all their shows that they do, the kids shows, stuff like Phineas and Ferb, Disney movies. I mean, I'm actually surprised they haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
and then now that they have these properties like Marvel and Lucasfilm and Pixar. Yeah, it's bound to happen and it's bound to be crazy. But all right, as we wrap up, just a reminder that we're continuing our journey to The Last Jedi. We just released our episode 3 trailer and commentary this past week. Thanks for watching that and checking that out. Real happy the way the episode 3 trailer came together. I went through like 10 versions of that. I was not happy. how that was coming together. But I had to just throw in a little mace, and then it's all good.
There you go.
Working on I'm working on 2 releases for you guys in September. Mm-hmm. We've got Rogue One and Episode 4 coming together in September, since they're basically one big movie.
Yeah.
Rogue One, we got our buddy Jeb Smith to sit in with that, and then we had our own Russell Johnson, who's doing our comic reviews. He sat in for the Episode 4 commentary, so we'll be putting that out in September. Feel like September is a huge month with Force Friday and all these things coming out. I feel like there's a trailer coming at some point.
Seems like it.
I feel like it's going to be someone released saying that tomorrow, which is August 11th, was when we got this. August 11th last year was when we got the second Rogue One trailer.
I don't recall.
So I don't think it's going to happen, but I feel like something's going to happen Force Friday maybe. I think it's going to be September. But we'll see. Other than that, just follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Go to InsideTheForce.com. Listen to all the shows we got going on there, as well as reviews and articles that we're putting up there. Like I said, Russell's doing all the comics right now. And thanks for checking us out. We'll be back here next week to get you more Star Wars and get you caught up with all things Star Wars. For Casey Cooley,
I have waited a long time for this moment, my little green friend.
Nice.
At last the Jedi are no more.
Oh. Did he say that after that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
At last the Jedi are no more. Not everything
Nice.
you say about it, I have. Very good.
Good deal. Episode 3. There's some good topics in that commentary.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff with Anakin, of course, Obi-Wan's power, the whole Clone Wars thing, end of Clone Wars, Grievous. Yeah, we had some good topics. Anyway, thanks, guys, for checking us out. We will be back next week, giving you some more reviews on things, as well as gearing up for whatever's upcoming. I think there was a rumor. I didn't see official, but I think end of September 29th might have been the parent premiere for season 4 of Rebels. So we'll obviously talk about that if we get some confirmation. The Blu-ray of season 3 is out the end of this month of August, so it makes sense. Usually that comes out right before the premiere. So, all right, looking forward to that coming back. And looking forward to more Forces of Destiny, but I don't know when we're getting any more of this.
What happened with all that?
I know. That was like it came and went.
Yeah.
And there are figures out there that people are posting like crazy. Those figures actually do look good. I think I'll try to get my daughters into that. All right. Thanks, guys. He's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I am DCottingham21 on Twitter. Follow us at Inside the Force as well. Thanks, Case.
Goodbye, everybody.
May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force within all of us.